boy, do I have a video for you today. Moon Gang, I hope that your socks are on securely because I'm about to knock them off. This video will be split into two major parts. Part 1 will be relating to Citadel securities. I'll be explaining why they're really not as bad as you think they are. In fact, they're probably worse. In part 2, I'll be explaining why AMC stock is absolutely primed to explode. Before we hop into all that though, just so you know, I am creating this video on Saturday, March 27th, and as I'm filming it, AMC is trading at $10.31. Alrighty, let's hop into it. So why at all am I even talking about Citadel Securities? It's a very, very good question. Well, Citadel Securities in the biz is referred to as a retail wholesaler, aka a market maker. There's a very, very good chance that if you're using a stock or an application like Robinhood, when you place a trade to buy or sell, it's not going to an exchange such as the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. Most likely, it's being facilitated by Citadel Securities. There are many, many market makers like this. Citadel Securities has strong relationships with Robinhood, as we know from the Roaring Kitty congressional hearing. So with a company that has such importance, because, you know, so many of us are on Robinhood, there are many, many users on Robinhood. And just so you know, it's not just Robinhood, they actually deal with many, many brokerages. So you would hope a company like that is pretty straight-laced, following the rules, and has the best intentions in its heart. For example, in January of 2021 alone, for just the stock AMC, Citadel Securities had facilitated 3.6 million trades, which amounted to 1 billion shares of AMC being traded back and forth. This is the volume. Most of these, a decent percentage, is going to be from Robinhood, but like I said, it does facilitate the trades also for other brokers. So with that, like I said, you'd really hope that they're pretty straight-laced, that they're following the rules. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case. According to this FINRA report, which I will link in the description below, if you check out page 37, from 2006 until now, there have been 58 regulatory events, aka the times that the government caught Citadel Securities doing something it shouldn't be doing, and they all pretty much ended with this. Without admitting or denying the findings, the firm consented to the sanctions and to the entry of findings, aka they said, hey, we're not going to say we did nothing, we're not going to say we did anything, but we'll pay this fine and hopefully you'll go away. There's 58 in here. You could check them out yourself. Remember, I'm not a lawyer. I'm trying to decipher this the best I can, but let's go through some of the fun highlights. Citadel fined $800,000 by U.S. regulators for trading violations. Citadel Securities among firms fined over trading data errors. Citadel will pay $3.5 million for violations stemming from incorrect reporting for nearly 80 million trades from 2012 to 2016. U.S. regulators fined Citadel Securities over trading breach. Citadel Securities paying $22 million for misleading clients about pricing trades. Stop me if you know where this story is going. Citadel Securities fined by FINRA for trading ahead of client. I know this sounds pretty bad, and you might be thinking to yourself, Matt, maybe Citadel changed. Maybe. But in 2020 alone, Citadel Securities was censured by FINRA a total of 19 times. To be fair, when I went through that document, I only counted 7. But if you're 7, 19, either number, they're both bad. For a variety of misconduct, including failing to close, failure to deliver positions, naked short selling, inaccurate reporting of short sale indicators, executing trades during circuit breaker halts, and failing to offer its clients best prices on the bid-ask spread. One more time for the people in the back: naked short selling and inaccurate reporting of short sale indicators. This is a big deal because obviously we're dealing with the data we can possibly deal with. But with me, the way I choose to run this channel, I can't make wild conjectures. I do think the numbers we're seeing are being underreported, but all I can do is really just show you the numbers and hope that they're accurate. But right here, naked short selling and inaccurate reporting of short sale indicators. You know what they say? Walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. It's probably a duck. On more of a serious note, it is a fair argument that maybe they stop the illicit practices that they're involved with. I really don't think so, because it's such a lucrative business. In the last quarter of 2020, Citadel Securities brought in $1 billion of earnings. And for the year of 2020, they brought in $4.1 billion. That's billion with a B, and that was a record-breaking number. For them, those fines we saw, the biggest one was 22 million. They're just not stopping. In fact, I mean, why would they stop when it's a net profitable thing for them to do? They're not. We caught them 58 times from 2006 all the way up until 2020. Imagine the amount of times we didn't catch them, and when we do catch them, they're paying. It's a small smack on the wrist. No one cares. And in fact, literally, how in your face is this? As recent as yesterday, Thursday, March 26th, FINRA slaps $275,000 fine on Citadel Securities for reporting violations. The market maker neither agreed nor denied the allegations. Wow, that sounds oddly familiar. It's just commonplace for them. Unfortunately, that's the real world we are dealing in right now. Once again, this is just the evidence I found. I will link all this stuff in the description of the video. I highly recommend you do your own due diligence, but I wanted to let you know the pieces of information that I'm personally finding. And now, let's start with part B. How in the world does this all connect to AMC? And why am I oddly positive saying that it's absolutely juiced for a squeeze? Well, first, let's get a couple of definitions out of the way. So for any stock, first piece of terminology is outstanding shares. That's the total amount of shares of stock in existence, and it's different for every company. Now, next is free float. Free float is the amount of public shares. So if you added the free float, institutional shares, and private shares, or like insider owners, that would be the outstanding shares. So outstanding is always a bigger number of free float. Free float is the amount of shares that people like you and I can trade. That's the public market. So, and then we know short interest. Short interest is the percentage of the free float that is being shorted. So if there were 10 shares in free float, which there's always way more, and 2 of them were being shorted, the short interest would be 20%, 2 out of 10. So this is on Ortex. Just so you know, there has been a lot of debate in this community right now with AMC and GME of what is viable data, especially when we have quote unquote bad actors such as Citadel and potentially other people not reporting the numbers, at least not reporting them accurately. I agree that there could be manipulation. In fact, I think that there is, but as of now, I don't have like definitive proof of what the accurate numbers are. So I'm just dealing with the best numbers that I can. As of now, as I'm filming this, the estimated short interest for AMC of the free float is 18.42. Just so you know, when I was looking at a Bloomberg terminal on Thursday, March 20, whatever that was, the 25th, the morning of the 26th, Friday morning, AMC was coming in just at over 12. So Bloomberg terminal is saying that AMC is shorted at a rate of 12%, while Ortex is saying 18. I think that's roughly the realm we're in. I can promise you we're definitively not below it. If there is, shady things not being reported, that would mean that the number is just potentially higher. But all I can do is show you the numbers that I could potentially find. Other than that, it's just basically kind of maybe a hunch or a thesis, but I need to show you the data that I can personally track down and that you could also track down. So right here, the other thing I want to point out, and this is going to be important, I'm going to tie this all together, I promise you, is utilization. So the biggest circle is outstanding shares. The next one is going to be free float. In that is the amount of shares that could technically be shorted. There's a lot of people out there who turn off their lending, so that means that their shares can't be lent out to someone too short, so it's an even smaller bubble. So utilization is the percentage of shares that could theoretically be shorted and how many of them are being shorted. So right now on AMC, out of that entire pocket of, hey, we could short this amount, 84% is being shorted. That is sky high, and I'll show you Tesla as a relative thing in just 1 second. The other thing I want to point out is percentage of free float on loan. So this isn't exactly the short interest, but they're highly correlated. So basically, you could loan a share out, but you pay a fee, you could borrow it, but some people don't actually short it. They're like, hey, I'll pay this fee. I now have this share of AMC on loan, but they might not actually like pull the trigger. So they're not going to be exactly the same numbers, but typically they're highly correlated. And before I hop into it, as you're about to see, I don't really care about the magnitude of really any of these numbers. Like, it is good to know. I care about how we're trending. And I think this is the part of where I can best explain. Well, really, the fact that the utilization is as high as 85%, that itself shows that AMC is absolutely juiced. But I think the trend in free float will be interesting. So overall, just so you know, let's just recap. The short interest on AMC right now, according to Ortex, is 18.4. The free float on loan is 29%, and utilization is 84. So those numbers sound great. You're probably thinking, Matt, those are great. What will I in the world possibly do with them? Well, let me just show you how, I guess, much interest there is in shorting, because Tesla is considered to be one of the most shorted stocks on the entire stock market. Well, its short percent interest is 5.8, its free float is 4.9, and its utilization is 15, and that's high. Look at AMC's. They're coming in way, way higher. Once again, I don't think that these, if they are being misreported, that means that the numbers are just higher than they are. But even if these are spot on, 100% accurate, they're coming in at more than triple the rate of Tesla, which is a highly shorted stock. So yes, these numbers, whether it's their magnitude or relative rate to other stocks on the market, AMC is sky high. And just because the short interest is sky high, I need to clarify that doesn't definitively mean we will see a short squeeze, but it does mean that if there is a short squeeze, the magnitude at which we'll run will be very, very, not only sky high, but very, very violent. Okay. So another important thing, let's get into the numbers specifically for AMC. So I just want to clarify, this is the estimated short interest of the free float, and also exchange, it's based on exchanges. So we're not counting dark pools, and we're also not counting non-ATSs, aka market makers such as Citadel Securities. So this is just like, it's a big piece of the pie, but it's not the entire pie. I just need to get that across. But we're here to look at the trends. And just so you know, the short interest, these numbers are actually only reported twice a month. So that's why the most recent one we have is from March 15th, and it's saying that the short interest is, you can see it right here, around 49, and the free float is around 19 on that date. Obviously, as I'm filming this, it's March 27th, so that date is clearly already old. But there's no updated data, but we do have an updated free float on loan, and as you can see, look how they track each other. They're not exactly the same, but there's a nice trend upward. In fact, the free float as of Thursday, March 25th, has been the highest ever for AMC in the past 6 months, like ever. Look at this. It's just at the highest. And since we know it is correlated to the short interest, we don't definitively know it, but we could probably safely assume that the short interest is actually the highest it's been. Once again, this isn't updating accurately. We're just estimating it. But look at that. If it is tacked with the free float on loan, the short interest, you could assume, as I'm stating this, as I'm filming this right now, is the highest it's ever been, which is phenomenal for us. Once again, this is just an important piece to the puzzle. A high short interest, a high free float on loan doesn't ever guarantee a short squeeze, but it's an important piece to the puzzle that has to be there for a short squeeze to even be possible. I am well aware in my previous video, my sentiment wasn't what it should have been. And in fact, I didn't have this data available to me. I just got on this. So now that I have it, I'm trying to share it with you. I wholeheartedly believe that AMC is not being shorted at a rate of 400% or even anything close to it. But the rates we're even seeing now, if this is accurate, it's more than enough for the squeeze that we're all hoping for. And in fact, it's trending upward. Every day that's passing, this is looking better and better for us. So I just wanted to get that out there. Citadel, to wrap this entire video up, Citadel Securities seems to be a bad actor. FINRA has caught him 58 times since 2006. To the best of my knowledge, it was 7 times alone in 2020. It's a highly profitable business for them. And as recently as yesterday, they were caught again. Once again, that's who Robinhood is using to facilitate their trades. It's Robinhood's market maker. On the other side, more specific to AMC, the data we're seeing right now, I don't know if it's accurate or not. To the best of my knowledge, it's close to being accurate. Where AMC squeezed before, we've grown 50% since then. Both the short interest and the free float on loan has increased by 50% since that original squeeze, which tells me that if we get another squeeze, it'll be even more violent. We will go higher than the numbers we saw for round one. Once again, this is my own research, my own evidence. I am not a lawyer. I'm not a financial advisor. If I got any part of this video wrong, I would love to discuss it with you. I want to use this platform to share the most accurate information and explain it in the best way I possibly can. And right now, to me, things are looking pretty good. Once again, I would like to get your opinion in a comment below. And beyond that, to me, I'm looking at this as like a very positive improvement relative to my last video. So I would truly appreciate it if you could share this video with a friend and help me out with the YouTube engagement. Don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button. All that engagement tells the YouTube algorithm that more people need to watch this. And I think this is pretty good stuff to be aware of at this moment in time. So I would really appreciate that if you could share it. And don't forget also, if you want 2 free stocks, sign up for Webull, 1 for signing up, and then a 2nd free stock for depositing $100. And until I catch you in the next video or a Monday to Friday live stream, best of luck in the markets.